Hello, my nasties. How you doing? Welcome to Yes, It's Yessie. Now, so let's go ahead and get into some weird shit. So if you guys want to hear any more from me, see more of me, more of my stories, go ahead and like and subscribe. I really need you to get that algorithm really recognizing that I am actually really, really dope. That was corny as hell. Sorry. But it's true. I'm the bomb. Anyways, I have a little note here on what I should be talking about. So, I'm getting a lot of requests from my TikToks saying, hey, can you go into more spiritual stuff and stuff that you've seen? So, I'm going to talk about one of the first time I realized that I can recognize when someone's sick or that they are going to be very sick. This was when I was about maybe 12 or 13 years old. I don't remember exactly. I just remember that it was when Charmed was really, really still poppin'. But my father used to come downstairs. Now, this is me seeing things. This is me seeing something, and I'll explain what it is. Basically, it was early morning. My father was come downstairs to come tell me, get up, you need to go to school. Like he always did every day. He woke up super, super, super early. So he ends up coming downstairs. But right before he did, his friend Cano was here. He was in the living room. They used to work together. Now Cano passed away. I believe he passed away a few years ago. But I remember waking up and looking, my bed was in the middle of the room because I was in the basement, like I am now. The bed was in the middle of the room and there was no wall. It was just steps. So I remember seeing from where the ceiling of the basement was and the steps, there was green neon slime coming down. And I was like, now, what is this? Mind you, I've seen things like that in the past, but never put two and two together. I'm like, what is this slime? And I'm not talking about just imaginary slime. It physically looked like there was slime coming from the ceiling and the steps, right? And it was like that color. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And it smelled so bad, but it had an extremely sweet smell, like sweet garbage, which is weird as all hell. But I was like, what is going on here? And I remember my dad coming down the stairs and saying, he was complaining, I can't even do this. Like your typical Latin father that just complains about everything. I look at my arm, I stepped on it wrong. And then he was like, I don't know, my face feels funny. And Cano, his friend, was like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, look, I can't even tie my fucking shoes. And I'm like, okay, Dad, I'll come help you. I walk over, and all I see is my father's face, left side, father's face drop. And he slumps to one side. I am like, I know this smell. He smelled like the slime that was there 10 to 20 minutes prior. I already knew that something was going to happen because I felt it. As soon as it happened, I ran upstairs, called 911. I was able to get them there quickly, and I was able to get him help. If I wasn't there to help him, or to see that something was going to happen, he wouldn't have survived. And unfortunately, that was the beginning chain of multiple strokes and heart attacks. But he had a stroke and a heart attack at the same time. And yes, he didn't know either. But if I was still sleeping, like I always did, and not listening to him to get out of bed, because he taught me how to be on time, but I will wait till the last second to be on time. But I'm going to be on time. And I always was like, oh, give me a couple more minutes. That morning, I woke up earlier than him, saw it, and waited for him to come downstairs. And sometimes I think about, what else I could have at least helped with or seen. So now, as an adult, 20 odd years later, I literally listen to my body, and I listen to my stuff, if you want to put it that way. I listen to it because it does not steer me wrong. And yeah, me and my father are estranged now, but in my eyes, I saved him that day because he could have been gone that day. And I think about that sometimes, and I get a little bit emotional, like, maybe I should get a better relationship with him. And then I'm like, no, because of my own reasons. And he's very toxic, and he's very angry at the world, and me talking to him is not helping him. But I'm his kid, so sometimes I do think about it. All in the end, when you're spiritual, when you are sensitive, when you are just connected to another realm, pay attention to the smallest things. Pay attention. That's not the only time that's happened to me. It's happened to me several times in my life, even with myself. Many times. Now, let me give you one more story about seeing something and knowing what to do without realizing I'm doing it. This was 9 years ago, 10 years ago. I was in New York City. It was my birthday. I was by myself. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was kind of like, I kind of want to do something. I was in a really bad spot financially. I was, practically homeless. I was living, I was kind of like staying with someone from work. And unfortunately, that's a really tragic story, which I'll tell another time. But I remember being like, I need to figure out something to do. So I Tindered. And I Tindered. And I Tindered. Until I came across a profile. And the profile, which is strange, I remember reading it and I'm like, why do I smell eggs? And I'm like, wait a second. I've smelled this in the past. But the person I smelt it on was someone who was having issues with an entity that was harassing her, that was attached to her. So I see this profile and I'm like, I smell eggs. And it smells like wet dog. Like, what the hell? And then instantly, someone says, this person doesn't know, but they have something attached to them. Be careful. Well, me being the metida that I am, I was like, I want to know what's going on. And this is the time when I was really, really hounding in on a lot of things I can do. I didn't realize how much until, I still don't even know everything I can do, but it was intense. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do my little things. I'm going to wear this, that, and the third. And I'm going to go see this person. And this is before I knew about like wards and before I knew about protection spells. I just did whatever came to mind. And it happened to be the stuff that I'm learning about now. Like the stuff that I'm learning about now is, I'm like, oh, that has a name. Oh, I've been doing that already. So I remember doing all these things. I'm not going to get into what. But I met up with him and he's like really eager to meet me. So I was like, cool, let's just grab something to eat. It's my birthday. And he was like, oh, let's go get something to eat. Let's go to a store. Let's go hang out for the day. So I said, okay, cool. He meets me in Times Square. We go to Forever 21, which is, at the time I was wearing that stuff. I didn't believe in name brand at the time. But he bought me like $400 worth of stuff. Then we went to, I think it was Sprint, and he bought me a phone. I needed a new phone. My phone was like broken. A I think it was broken. I don't remember the detail, but I remember going to Sprint, getting me a new phone. Then we went out to eat, like the sushi spot, super dope, really nice. Then after that, we went to a bar. We went to the bar, and the bar was like this dope little spot in East Village. We go to the bar, and then that's when I see it. Mind you, the whole entire time, I spent the whole entire day with this guy. And when we went to the bar, that's when I saw it. I saw this thing on his shoulders. And I asked him, I said, hey, your energy's shifting. He's like, oh, you know about that stuff? I was like, yeah, a little bit. Your energy's shifting. You're getting a little bit more handsy. Are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? I'm like, no, nothing. And then he starts asking me, hey, why do you have that in your pocket? I said, what are you talking about? He's like, you have X, Y, and Z in your pocket. I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. And he's like, okay. This guy is telling me you do. I said, well, this guy is wrong. I don't know who this guy is. So, I literally walked away. I went to the bathroom. And I had someone left a whole shot of gin in the bathroom. And I don't know why there was a cinnamon stick in it. But there was a whole shot of gin and a cinnamon stick in the bathroom. I've never talked about this story, by the way. And I took the gin, and I took the cinnamon stick, and I drew a symbol on the floor. Drew a symbol on the floor, on the stall, on the wall, and on the other wall. And before I knew it, the second I was done, and I spat on the floor, he barges into the bathroom. What are you doing? Why are you in here? What are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, you're smart. Thanks? He's like, you're real smart. I'm gonna walk away. I said, yeah, please do. He's like, don't forget my name. I said, I won't. And he tells me his name, but his name is different. I'm not gonna say the real guy's name. Let's just pretend his name was Gregory. But he tells me his name is Basquiat. And I'm like, Basquiat? What the fuck kind of name is that? I thought his name was Gregory. Again, not his real name, but, you know, safety. And I'm like, okay, thank you, Basquiat. Now be gone. I don't want you. I don't need you. You can leave. And before I knew it, the guy left. I waited for 30 minutes in that stall. I left with that gin and that cinnamon stick and like my 12 bags. And I walked down the street. When I walked down the street and I hit the sidewalk, like hit the main street, the 6th Ave, I was like, holy shit. I just met a demon. Like, I just met a fucking demon. Then that's where I was like, no wonder that's what I smelled. Now I understand. My things tell me before I even know what I'm doing. If I would have never done the spells that I did beforehand, the spells when I was with him, and the miracle of gin and cinnamon that was sitting in the bathroom stall in a New York dive bar, dingy and dark, if I didn't do that, I don't know what would have happened at all. Because I didn't feel anything when I was near the guy until we were in that bar. And you know what? Whenever I go back to that bar, well, I started working there, like maybe working near that bar maybe a couple years after. Every time I went into that bar, it felt wrong. I personally think, which I could be wrong, that bar is a meat spot. It's a hot spot. It's a portal. It's something. Because you can smell it. And whenever I go there, because It was the closest thing to my job, and I drank. I don't drink now, but I drank then. I used to literally ask for gin and cinnamon and draw a symbol in front of me every time. Moral of the story is, pay attention to your guides, pay attention to what is being said, what you feel, because there is a reason for it. Now guys, if you want to know more, if you want to hear more of my stories about my life in New York, anything, like, I'm here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Please, that thumbs up. The more you guys hit it, the more I become part of their algorithm, or YouTube sees me more. So come on guys, get me there. Love you guys.